welcome back to the second half of our suspenseful double bill. I hope you enjoyed Experiment in Terror. That was Lee Remick was the first actress I ever had a crush on. It's easy to see why. And yes, those of you who are old enough to remember the Wild Wild West, that was Artemus Gordon who survived the Wild West to become this criminal mastermind. And just as a baseball fan, I love seeing it. Any movie that ends at Candlestick Park. And if you can explain to me why the villain decides that the place to go when he has to escape is the pitcher's mound in the middle of the stadium, it's like, wow, that's weird, you know? So, one thing about noir guys, they never know where to run when they have to run, right? I mean, they run up the water tower to the top. It's like, dude, come on. There's no place else to go after that. What are you thinking, right? Run to the middle of the stadium. Okay. Okay, the film you're about to see is written by the man who is the preeminent suspense scribe of American fiction, Cornell Woolrich. A very, very interesting life story on this man that I will not relate to you now. Buy my book, Dark City, The Lost World of Film Noir, and you can read all about the strange life story of Cornell Woolrich. Probably more films have been adapted from his stories and novels than any other American writer. I think Stephen King is creeping up on him slowly, and probably before it's all over, Stephen King will have that title. But right now, I think Woolrich is probably still in the lead. On Thursday night, we're showing a triple bill to conclude Noir City, and two of those movies are Woolrich-based films. I opted to show The Window tonight instead of making it a Cornell Woolrich triple bill because I think Experiment in Terror and The Window fit together a little better than if we went for that triple bill. But this is a pretty fascinating film that you're about to see. It's based on a short story that Woolrich wrote called The Boy Cried Murder. Very, very simple story about a little boy with an overactive imagination and the trouble that it gets him into. This film was made by RKO Pictures in 1947, is when the film was actually made. Shot largely on location in New York City, which is kind of remarkable when you think about it, because the film Naked City, that Jules Dassin shot on location in New York, gets written about all the time as being the first film shot entirely on location in Manhattan. But The Window was actually shot there first. But the film was not released in theaters until late 1949. So nobody really knew that it had been shot 2 years earlier. And the reason for that is that Howard Hughes took over RKO Studios in 1948, and he did not really think that the American public had any interest in seeing a movie about a young boy, because Howard Hughes liked movies about women with large breasts. Frankly, I have to say that. That was like his really overriding interest. And he couldn't understand why anybody would go to see a movie starring a little boy. So he put the movie on the shelf and said, that's a disaster. And only when the studio was losing money and they decided we got to do something, was the picture released to incredible acclaim. And it was a sleeper hit that virtually saved RKO when it was released. And it completely ignited the careers of all the people involved. The director, Ted Tetzlaff, was a cinematographer. He photographed Alfred Hitchcock's Notorious and some other films. And this was the picture that really put him on the map as a director. The cast is absolutely fantastic. Arthur Kennedy and Barbara Hale play the little boy's parents. And the villains are played by Ruth Roman, who would shortly make Alfred Hitchcock's Strangers on a Train and various other things. And the great Paul Stewart, who is one of my favorite actors in all of film noir. You may not recognize the name, but you will certainly recognize the visage and the voice that is Paul Stewart. And of course, the little boy is played by 9-year-old Bobby Driscoll, who, I won't go into the whole depressing story now before you see the movie, but if you are so inclined, when you go home tonight and you're curious about Bobby Driscoll, just Google him, and that will be the triple bill for tonight when you read about the fate of poor Bobby Driscoll. I learned something tonight that was fascinating to me. I'm going to share this with you now, a bit of irreverent trivia. I learned that Michael Jackson, when he did all the plastic surgery on his face, it was because he wanted Bobby Driscoll's nose. Seriously. That was like what he was going for, was little Bobby Driscoll's nose. That was what Michael Jackson was after. There. Now try to watch the movie and not think about that. Sorry about that. I just had to get that out. It's a fantastic film. A lot of people think that children and noir do not mix. This is the film that proves the lie to that, because this is about as noir as it's going to get, and one of the most suspenseful films, I think, ever. And there's a rule now in movies that you can do anything in films, just don't mistreat the kids, right? Because people won't stand for seeing children mistreated in a movie. Wow. Wait till you see this. Yeah, this is old school. There's one particular moment in this film that you will not believe. It's like, wow, did he just do that? That's incredible. So enjoy The Window, and I want to see all of you back here tomorrow night for 3D Noir. That will be a very special occasion. So enjoy Cornell Woolrich's The Window. Thank you.